Hello. I think this is working. If I can get confirmation in the chat that you guys can hear me, that would be great. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit nervous. Of course, the situation has been very stressful for me. And it's been difficult to try and wrap my head around everything. But I am here and I am ready to answer any questions. So you may begin whenever you would like. Yay. This is a serious stream, so I would prefer if we kept jokes to a minimum. I would like to genuinely talk about this. Thank you. I will wait until I see questions. This is a pretty good starter. So for what's going on, I made a video yesterday about the situation with Justy Chapman, the former voice actor for Knife, Paper, many different characters, and also one of the core 3 of the Inanimate Insanity staff. As for why, I was in a very difficult situation. I have I've had a very difficult run at it when it comes to my life and generally social cues. It's been very difficult for me as I've grown up because I spent a lot of time very isolated, only making content online from a very young age. So I was very adept to doing this kind of stuff. And I'm more of a satirical content producer. I never aimed to make content for children. I aimed to make my art because I like doing commentary on flaws in society, as well as just generally expressing things that people usually don't. Let's see. I did not want Justy to get fired. And I had been saying that for a while in advance. It's not Animation Epic's fault because at the time I did say I wanted them to be fired. It was a really awful time. I don't want to go into names or personal things about the situation like that. I would rather have other people keep their privacy. But at the time, I was under a lot of social pressure in real life for the situation that was occurring. And eventually it all really got to me. And after a lot of pressure and people telling you that you're wrong about something and that they're right, it can make you feel like you have no choice. Like you have to say it, and like it is true, and like you're crazy and you were wrong the entire time. When in truth, it's just people not understanding. And I am all right. Of course, this is very stressful for me. It's a lot of pressure to have so many people watching what I do next and wondering what my stance is on this as the alleged victim. As for if Justy is doing better, that is up to them to make a public statement regarding how they are feeling. And I wouldn't like to go too in depth on other people and their perspectives. They will say it with time if they feel comfortable. I will also not be answering questions about Taylor. Okay, let me see this. Can you explain to people about the supposed power imbalance and age gap? If you can clarify, thank you. This is a good question, and let's talk about it. So there was no power imbalance between the two of us. We were just friends. And for the age gap, that was what caused the assumption of a power imbalance, along with the fact that I made Inanimate Insanity related content and was close with an Inanimate Insanity creator. At the time, I was 18, which is quite young for an adult. But regardless, I was trying to make my art. I was trying to make a name for the artwork I was doing with my friends, and I was doing my best to try and moderate the whole thing because I'm a bit of a control freak. And I was just excited to see somebody else who was as creative and as dedicated to their work. It was great. But these things were not a part of what happened. Power imbalance and age gap was the rumors that came about because of the two of us in real life. So obviously, yes, and I have. And that is up to them to make that decision. And please do not throw any sort of accusations or hatred towards Animation Epic. It isn't fair. They didn't understand the situation either because I was not communicating. And when I tried to communicate, I was a mess because I was so stressed out. The situation looked bad. It looked bad. It was reasonable for them to do everything that they did. And after hearing what I had said, it was the only sensible option. He, him. I'm not going to get into this. A lot of questions on this. I'm just going to clear this up now. I'm male, but I mess around with gender, so it's irrelevant. But he, him, and Hariath is respectful. Thank you. As I said before, I was under a lot of pressure, and people tend to get deluded when they're under pressure. For me, I was in Chicago. I have always been with my family. I wasn't with my family. So I lost one of my fundamental support systems. And then my partner, I over-relied on for a long time. And I had broken up with him. So that was another fundamental coping strategy that I had that was toxic. That was gone. And I just didn't know who I was without it. I was always asking people what they wanted from me. I was always doing my best to be whatever it was that anybody wanted me to be, in my personality, in what I was providing to a situation, in the way that I talk, the way that I think. So I just I didn't know. I didn't know any better. And it was wrong. I was wrong. I made a wrong assessment of the situation. I look back on everything and I thought to myself, through all of my spiraling and stress, I was drinking a lot of alcohol, a lot of weed, a lot of partying, a lot of vomiting, a lot of not thinking clearly. Leads to bad decision making. I don't want you guys to do anything but send your support to Animation Epic and send your support and your care for them during this time. Let them know that you are still fans. Let them know that you don't think it was their fault. I'm not being forced to say anything. I feel like I should say that. I genuinely believe everything that I'm saying. And it seems like this might be the big kind of counter thing. Like, oh, but you were saying this and now you're saying that. So how do we know what is true? The truth of the matter is that I have spent months working this out. I've been in counseling. I completely changed my career path, and I still want to do media production, But I switched majors to psychology because I really wanted to understand why I didn't get social cues, and I wanted to make sure that kids know what they're getting themselves into, and I want to be a voice that you are not bad. So I know that it was quite confusing, the switch up, but it wasn't a switch up. It was something that I had been working out for months. I'm saying this now because it's the proper time. It was sudden, and I didn't tell anyone before I did it, which was, I suppose, sporadic of me, but it wasn't. I had been discussing it already for a while, and it seemed like it was about time that we get this over with. And I'm not saying that like it's this quick thing that I want to rip off like a band-aid. I'm saying that in the sense that this has been hard for everyone. And I think that for everyone, whether it's fans of Inanimate Insanity, fans of Justin Chapman, Animation Epic staff, people who have worked with people involved, deserve to know the truth from my perspective. Of course, I'm not beating myself up. I'm an adult, and I'm taking accountability for the situation. I am not stressed about taking accountability in the slightest. That part does not stress me out because I've worked through it. And the more so the thing that I'm stressed about is I would really like to make a point here. No. Maybe. Probably not. This is a rumor. This is not true. When it comes to what I have observed from this, Justy is a great content creator who loves engaging with fans. It's cool. Not a lot of media producers do that. Not a lot of media producers make their fans feel like their art is important. I think people like that are important. And they did not do that. They haven't been doing that for years. They occasionally send supportive messages to fans, which I think is a great thing. And I think more people should do that. This was part of it. It was definitely something that was involved, but it was not. The major part was people I knew in real life at the time. People who I was very close with. Things got messy. And I honestly still haven't gotten to talk that out yet. And I'm hoping at some point maybe. A lot of miscommunication and generally jumping to assumptions about me. So yeah. I am doing better now. I'm great. I have a job right now. I'm in school. I'm still working on my comic. I'm still making content, so that's the exciting part, but regardless, yeah. And as I've stated before, yeah, no history of doing this. No history of that. We were friends. We were really friends. Really close friends. Not in a weird way. Another thing people talk about is the way that we spoke to each other in streams. As I stated at the beginning of this, I'm a satirical content producer. I make satirical content because it's funny. Not because I'm trying to prove a point about something in our relationship. That's a psych eval that is false. And that is parasocial behavior. Assuming that something I would do in a live stream is serious because this is social media. And it was like 99.9% of my video content is satirical, at least as of this point. Unless it's on TikTok or something, when I'm recording improv or a talk thing, it's a joke. I just like comedy. And I think that is important to clarify. Let's see. lots of questions that are about other people. You don't have to tell Animation Epic about this. I've already made them aware, and whether they choose to watch it or not is up to them, but I'm sure they will. If we want to know specifically about what was going on in my life that moment, I had been in my friend's bedroom crying. This was a month after I had blocked Justy, and I was talking about how stressed I was and how I didn't know what to do and how I was at the worst point that I had ever been. And instead of trying to comfort me, they immediately said, well, if you feel that way, you have to do something. And they basically were like, yeah, if that happened, if you feel that way, if this and that, then you should really go make a statement. And they had been saying that to me for a while, but that night it was very direct. So I just believed them. And it's not their fault and it's not mine. It was an awkward time for us both, so I probably shouldn't have been going to them for comfort, but yeah. yeah, of course. Yeah, this is important. A lot of these rumors come from accounts that are meant to destruct Inanimate Insanity. A lot of these rumors are coming from accounts that are looking for traction or have a personal grudge against Inanimate Insanity for a reason unrelated to the actual crew. Then they develop these false narratives. It is a false narrative. Oh my goodness. Yes. Repeat for this. I make inappropriate content. I know I have a lot of viewers now that are children. I can't control what you guys watch. I say that my videos aren't for adults when I'm uploading. Aren't for children when I'm uploading. Sorry. I hit the tick. I put trigger warnings. Ultimately, I'm not a parent. I can't dictate what kids are going to see when they go on their phones. But I can say for a fact that I would never say anything to try and make any group of people feel bad about themselves or say something that would cause morally bad activities. I don't condone that. I wouldn't want that. I'm an adult that's been through a lot in a very short amount of time because I'm only 19, turning 20 in July. So yes, I am a satirical content creator. This is a good point. So for me, what it comes down to is motive. If the fan is a creator as well, if the fan is of a similar age range, perhaps, but it would have to be through a professional means. This was through a professional means. We were going to collaborate, and we did. We wanted to outreach the brand of Inanimate Improv to work with some of the voice actors for fun because thought it would spruce things up a little bit and thought it would be interesting. It was. There was some great content filmed out of it. That is the only reason why me and Justy were in this situation to begin with. Please stop asking me questions about Justy's family. I am not going to be answering them. Thank you. So yes and no. I did resign. And I handed off creative control to Rosin. But also I wouldn't have quit Inanimate Improv if it wasn't for the things that were going on. First of all, they go by Justy, they, them pronouns, and yes, and I addressed this in the video. I sent a very, very, very long apology text message back in January. Luckily, they are as their internet persona makes them out to be, because they are just so forgiving, sometimes too much for their own good. And of course, and I'm still sorry for it every single day. I've been going through the brunt of it. I mean, it took so much stress out on me that I, as I stated before, tried to kill myself. I tried to kill myself in when I was doing Inanimate Improv. Before I fully quit, I had gone to some random person's apartment and drank a lot of whiskey and yeah, bad stuff. But you know, through all the stress and through all of the processing and through everything that happened, I can't even state enough, but I'm really trying to work past the guilt thing. I have stated to the extent that I have, so I don't know how much they've seen. I'm not talking to them. But regardless, it's out there. The II team is not affiliated with this live stream. I'm doing this on my own accord. This isn't something they agreed to. This isn't something that they asked me to do. So I don't know. I hope so. I hope that things get better. The internet is a little bit messy right now in regards to the situation. Yes. 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 First of all, you matter. You're human, and everybody makes mistakes. We all do messed up stuff. It happens, especially when you're younger. I was 18 at the time, and now I'm 19. So handling the brunt of a situation like this, it can be very stressful. And I have been stressed about it. I've been very stressed out about it. But for me, it's therapeutic to just tell the truth, you know? Just go out there and say what you need to, and don't feel guilt about it, because you know what you're saying if you're speaking from the heart. But accusatory statements are different. Accusatory statements should be rare. They should only be if something is actually pressing. For example, someone is in physical danger. Somebody is going to get seriously hurt, or someone has gotten seriously hurt. And I know seriously has been demeaned over a while. That means predatory things could affect their real life, or somebody is saying things that are inherently directly not acceptable. At the moment, no. I don't think so. I have made a couple of Inanimate Insanity sketches on this channel, though, so if that's something that you're looking for, that is there. I've also posted a few Inanimate Insanity cosplays on my TikTok, so if you're looking for the II content, it is still something that I'm doing on the side, but I might take a little hiatus. I heard a rumor about how another reason that Justy got left was because apparently they were showing more information about II with people who were not supposed to have the info. Is that true? No, that's not true. They did not do anything that was against their job policy. We had conversations that involved the future of II because we were friends. And I obviously was not going to leak it or do anything with that information. Of course, it can seem dangerous, but I am a very trustworthy person. And it was not anything serious that anybody would have taken note of. This is another good question. How do you know for sure if you're in a bad situation, and what should you do when you feel like you want to hurt yourself? So, if you use some critical thinking skills, which is like really think about the situation. Are you going to get physically hurt? Is your life in danger? Are you able to do the things you usually do? Now, with the third one, it could be a bit confusing because, mental health can be hard. But really look at the full scope of the situation, not just what happened or what caused it, but what else was happening. And, you might talking things out in a bad situation can be good if you are safe. And you are safe so long as someone will not physically hurt you. And you can always tell a trusted adult as well. You should. It is important to advocate for yourself. If you feel like you want to hurt yourself, a really good coping strategy is water temperatures. So, if you're feeling really hot and you really want to hurt yourself, or you're feeling really, really cold and you want to hurt yourself, if you're feeling hot, go put your arm under cold water or pour a little bit of water on yourself. And if you're feeling really, really cold, a nice warm shower. The sudden change in temperature can help you to calm down. How can you say you and Justy's friendship was purely professional when you have also said that you would vent/talk to each other about your personal lives? Because we were friends. The way we met was purely professional. But we became actual friends because we had a lot of interests in common. I mean, that's completely normal. It happens all the time. We both liked the same kind of music and the same kind of games. We had so many shows that we both watched, so many characters that we want to talk about. Media analysis. A lot of our conversation was media analysis. But of course, when you're friends with somebody, you're going to talk about what's going on. And when something really bad is going on, you're not going to have much of a filter. And I don't, unfortunately. But I would like to say I've gotten better about that. And yes, I am aware of this. That's just a thing with me. I will go on phone calls with people from anywhere to 10 minutes to 24 hours because I love talking to people. People are so interesting. And if we're having a really good conversation, you better believe I'm going to be talking. And when it's about media, I mean, I love media. We watched Severance together. Really good show. Don't recommend to people who are young. It's very dark, very scary. All right. Seems like I got up to date. Does anybody have any more questions? Regarding the situation. If you want to ask me about personal projects and my own art stuff, you can do that on Tumblr. And I'll try to use this channel more because I can see that I'm just very busy right now with work. I'm working full time. So, a good way to figure out if an accusation isn't true. This is a great question. First of all, scope it out. If somebody accuses somebody of something and the evidence is solely text messages, be wary, because that means that it didn't happen in person. Check their account and see what they've posted about it. Were the people close? Do the screenshots indicate someone is being taken advantage of? And is the alleged victim truly having no online presence, or do they really have an online presence? For me, I already had an online presence on TikTok and on YouTube. And while I wasn't in the head of my TikTok era, I've had posts with 100,000 likes before. So it made sense for us to be friends. We both understand the pressure of being a influencer in a niche community from a young age. To the people who say that Justy was rightfully fired, what do you think about that when everything was clearly untrue? They were not rightfully fired. I can't say that enough. It is not Animation Epic's fault, and I also can't say that enough. The situation was so confusing and was this. Nobody knew what was going on. And when somebody says something that's serious, and there was already suspicion on it before, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard, especially when people have a hard time saying what happened truthfully because they're scared. I will answer one question on this, and then I'm not. It got taken down because of what was going on, because of the confusion of it. It caused more confusion, so it got taken down, and we stopped producing it because it was making things worse. Not in the slightest. I don't blame or resent any of them. This was a bad situation. It shouldn't have happened, and it sucked. It sucked for everybody involved. Not just me, not just Justy, but their friends. The people who they had been around since they were young kids. I mean, they had always been working on this project, and they had also always been close. So it sucks that this happened for everyone, especially for them in this specific context. It's hard when you've been with someone for a really long time and you need to reevaluate it and you need to end it. For what I would say, in my own mistakes, don't be too nonchalant about it. Treat it seriously. It's serious. If you've been with somebody for a really long time and you try and just like treat it like it was nothing, they will feel like they're nothing. So don't do that. I'd also like to ask about the boundaries between you and Justy, considering your maturity gap, since you've already said the fan-creator relationship wasn't an issue. The boundaries between you and Justy, considering your maturity gap. There wasn't a maturity gap. We were both professionals that knew what we were doing. The only thing that happened was in my personal life. It wasn't immaturity. I didn't do it because I was immature. Anybody who was in my situation with my history would have done that. So, yeah, so people don't really think about this. And they do know that, but there's safety measures that have to be accounted for here when it comes to a situation like this. Thank you. I was an adult. I was 18. We started messaging for Inanimate Improv, which it was funny. And some people who worked on Inanimate Insanity also thought it was funny, which was cool. All right, do we have any more questions? Also, please try not to put pressure on anyone on the team to make an immediate statement. It is a lot. Give them time, because this is also stressful for them. Very much. Yes, I have. Upset and disappointed in myself, but after a lot of self-hatred and therapy and working through it, I forgive myself because it made sense. I get why I did it. I was very stressed out, but also not. I was more so stressed out about whether or not I would be able to get my point across properly, and I hope that I am, and I hope that what I'm saying is understandable. I'm here to answer questions. An 18-year-old and a 27-year-old will almost always have quite a large maturity gap, considering one party is freshly an adult and the other is years into adulthood and development as well. Yes, but this disregards the fact that I was an influencer from a young age, and also I was very socially isolated. This led to me spending a lot of time focused on my social perception, as well as my academics, as well as my craft, leading me to gain a very, very strong sense of identity from a very young age, and to be ready to be an adult. In this world, in this time, people aren't really doing that, and people are ending up being an adult and not being ready to be an adult, and it causes all of these other problems. For me, I was ready, and I'm still ready. I mean, this is something that I have spoken about with so many different people. And if I had a maturity gap, I would not be able to handle what I am doing right now. That would be crazy. And I also don't think I would know what to say as well as I do. So I don't blame Inanimate Improv. I'm not going to lie. They were involved. I hope that they are all doing well and we are not speaking. But I do not blame them for this situation. It was confusing. I am. I'm still working on things for my own projects, and I'm going to have more things coming out. And I really like my job, for what it's worth. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I'm not planning on slowing down anytime soon. Hey, read this, please. Do not pressure Animation Epic for a statement. Clip that, repost that. If there's anything you're going to take from this live stream and post, do not pressure Animation Epic. Please. Please. If something like this were to occur, and I'm not affiliated with Animation Epic, and I'm not affiliated with anything they're doing, it would not be without the permission of the voice actors. So if something like that were to occur, do not be mad about it. They would have willingly wanted that to happen. And thank you very much. I'd like to say I respect how you told your story, how you didn't victimize either one of you two, and how you treated this situation. You've inspired me to be true to myself and others. Good. 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 That is a good takeaway. And my pronouns are he, him. Male. No, I wasn't, because I knew I would be this upfront about it. And I know people are still doubting it, and that's why I'm still talking about it. You know, beat the dead horse, but the horse is not dead. I kind of need to. This is very serious, and it should be treated seriously. People don't take these things seriously anymore. We sit back and we cancel someone, and then we make all these posts like we were there. We say, oh, they did this. Oh, I saw a lot of TikToks with the song, I love little girls. What is your problem? Don't do that. If there's anything that you shouldn't do when somebody is getting canceled, it is make satirical posts about people you don't know, because they see it. Oh, I promise you they see it. They see everything because they're so scared and hate themselves so much. They see your posts. It's not funny. It's not haha. It can cause seriously bad things like suicide or self-harm. Horrible things can come from you making satirical posts about somebody getting canceled because you never know if they were innocent. Take things more seriously, please. Yes. See, this is a great example. Do not pressure creators. You don't know them. You don't. Even if you've watched their streams, even if you've spoken with them briefly, even if you've seen them at meetups, you do not know the content creators you're talking to. And that's okay. It's true. You know the media, though, and engage with the media. And you can enjoy them and be a fan. Do not make assumptions about their personal lives. Yes, this. When a 27-year-old is friends with an 18-year-old, it is the 27-year-old's responsibility to establish boundaries. Even if the 18-year-old is mature, it is part of the responsibility of being older in an age gap friendship. I'll tell you this. If somebody is struggling with severe social anxiety, it doesn't matter what the age gap is. I am a great speaker. I like handling this stuff, and I am responsible, and I know what I'm talking about. You can go on and on and on and say it's unfair, but it is fair. And you aren't my therapist, because my therapist told me this was a good idea. And I don't blame the internet either, but I'm here to point out that, especially since you're watching this video, use this as a good example on how to handle this going forward. If you see a creator getting canceled, please be thoughtful. You absolutely can. And mental health, it can seem like this huge convoluted thing, and it's completely different from everybody. We all live in different perspectives, and we see things differently depending on what we've been through, what we grew up with, the environments that we know, how we've been treated. Think about somebody else's conditions and think about your own. We all go through stuff, especially these days. Not having trauma is not a thing. Yes, we need to treat 18-year-olds like adults. Tired of people babying 18-year-olds. Yes. So to be clear, are you saying Justy didn't establish boundaries? So you believe there was no need, but does that mean they didn't? Yes, they established boundaries. Like any normal adult would, we both established boundaries. But when you're friends with somebody and you're actually friends with somebody, boundaries are not as crazy because you guys know each other and you trust each other. I don't even know what you're trying to get at with this. So to be clear, are you saying Justy didn't establish boundaries about what? Like about what happened? This is also a good one. Yeah. This whole situation is just sad. The fact people just jump straight to conclusions about the whole thing and then were rude and disrespectful about Justy just annoys me so bad. Let's not be annoyed with people. Let's be understanding. So when something happens, you know, we take a step back and we actually don't intrude on personal lives. What's going on? Okay, I'm going to summarize. So welcome to Hariath's Speedrun. We're talking about Justy's firing Justy Chapman from Inanimate Insanity, a voice actor, and I made false accusations against Justy Chapman and said that they groomed me when that is not what happened, and I was an adult at the time and I knew what I was doing. It was bad. I did a bad thing. And yes, I will say this, they go by Justy. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. This is true. When you guys make insensitive jokes, and I'm only going to say this one more time and then I will lay off about it, they are real. They are really affecting people. Please be careful what you say. Please. Please. Yes, this is true. General boundaries. When I asked my question, you simply answered that there was no maturity gap. I was just asking for further clarification. I'm wondering if you mean like boundaries like about age or maturity gap, because it wasn't there. I mean, yeah, we had general boundaries like any person would. I still personally think messaging a fan and befriending them after said fan gave them money, groomer and parasocial, might not be the right terms, but I don't think Justy was entirely innocent. I wanted to reach them. I sent the super chat because they were in the middle of a live stream and I was excited and I wanted to reach them because I didn't know if another method would get through to them and I wanted to make sure they would see it. It wasn't because I was like, ooh, Justy noticed me. That's not what was happening. I was trying to make sure that they would see because I wanted to collaborate with them. And they're not weird and they are in this situation innocent, whether you would like to believe it or not. The money was to make sure they would see it. That's all there is to it. All right. I'll stay on the live stream until it hits the hour mark, which is in 10 minutes. Let's reedify this. Do not go harass Inanimate Improv members either. All of them. Do not harass Rosin. Do not harass any of the X members. Do not go after Tara, Leah, Luca. Do not go after anyone, please. They are not even involved with this situation, so please do not bother them. I agree that we should all use this evidence for use this situation for future situations. Don't jump to conclusions unless evidence has been revealed, and make sure you know everything going on before you make claims. Yes. Yes. Very, very good. Very good. You're watching Dear Evan Hansen? I love Dear Evan Hansen. I'm so Connor Murphy. I get that. I get that. That was a nice little light-hearted thing amidst all of this. Genuinely do not harass anybody. I hope you are well. Thank you. Would you say that people in relation to this situation didn't properly know what the term groomer means? Yes. I would also say that the term groomer is completely used out of context all the time. Yeah. So, ew. Oh my god, I'm so scared. So scared. From the II fandom, don't go after Adam Katz or Brian Koch if they rehire Justy. Don't go after them in general. Don't go after anyone. It's not your business. Also, like, oh, here's a question. How much should you believe about a situation if it's meant to deceive, but there's no evidence to say if it's right or not? It's just your gut. Depending on how involved you are with the situation. If you post about it online, you're going to make it worse. Don't post about it online. If there's no evidence to say if it's right or not, don't even say anything. If it happened, evidence will come out. Trust me. I know these things. So many people think groomer equals pedophile equals predator when they're all different things. Yes, that is true. They are. Another thing, I see this too. Minors cannot be groomers. They are too young to be able to make those kinds of decisions. And it is the parents' fault for letting someone stay around someone they believe is a bad influence. But also, if a kid is grooming people, that means things are not okay at home and their life is not going well. And you need to tell a trusted adult. Thank you for speaking up. I'm sorry that everything happened. I hope you're well. I hope people take out of this that evidence is important. Yes, 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 yes. They were around during the situation, and we had conversations that did lead to my decision. I'm saying they're not involved in this current situation with the videos that I'm making right now. Yes. I don't know what this means, but you're funny. This is what people say sometimes. No, they can't. Yes, 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 yes. And you're welcome. See, now I'm going to have a little sip of water here. You guys have 6 more minutes, so get your questions in now while I'm here. Again, stop with the blame game. Do not talk about anyone's responsibility in this situation. This was a personal situation. Yes, someone lost their job over this, but it was over personal matters. This was private. This happened personally. Do not pressure anybody to say anything. This stream will continue to exist on this channel. I'm not going to take it down. It is a permanent live stream. Oh, crap. Thank you. Yeah, Justy is also a person, believe it or not. Yeah, they're actually a person. So, yeah. Great. Yeah. I see that too. That is the point of this video. Do you think people should be treating OSC creators as celebrities or as popular people, if not just a normal person? All celebrities are normal people. Popular people do not exist. We are all just people. We are all just people existing in the world. And you should treat all creators humanely, but do not act too close to them. Yeah, exactly. I was groomed by a 17-year-old, so saying minors can't be groomers is bullshit. Okay, you should reevaluate that situation. Figure out what was going on in the 17-year-old's life. See where they're at now. That's all I'm going to say. But no, minors can't groom other minors. I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry. I know it sucks. They can't. Personally, do not think a obligation to research the situation is better to believe a victim's line accidentally fires. Yep. Yeah. This one. Just because all you see is a profile picture doesn't mean the person who typed those words isn't real. Be respectful. Don't harass. Yes. I'm not passive aggressive. I've been live for 56 minutes. I haven't eaten yet. I'm trying my best to remain composure. There's a lot of comments to read. I'm just making sure that I get to everybody. I have no anger here. Very passionate about taking this seriously. I'm not victim blaming, because no one's at fault if it's a minor. That means that it is a really sad situation. Minors should not be in a headspace where they would be doing something that would insinuate that in the first place. It's sad. It's a problem with society and the world. People confuse digital sexual harassment with grooming. If something happened, it doesn't mean nothing happened. It just means grooming has a different meaning. Yeah. Well, thanks, Mom. You're clearly not taking it seriously if you think that minors are incapable of grooming other minors. Grooming is manipulation. Not all manipulation is grooming, but grooming is manipulation. And why do you think a minor would manipulate in the first place? If a minor is trying to manipulate someone, it means that something is not going right for them, and it is sad and dangerous, and that person is not doing well. It means that person is struggling, really struggling, and they can't even get a grasp on their identity. You need to tell a trusted adult if that is happening and get them help and get yourself a way to protect yourself. Yeah. So let's be reasonable here. Okay. If I see any important questions, I will answer them before I go, but I'm just going to leave the final statement here. Overall, do not blame anybody for this situation. Justy didn't do anything wrong. Animation Epic didn't do anything wrong. Adam Katz didn't do anything wrong. Samuel Thornberry did not do anything wrong. Brian Koch did not do anything wrong. And technically, with my circumstance considered, I didn't. But the action that I did was very bad. And I've taken accountability for it, and I continue to every single day. It was serious. And overall, as somebody who did this, as somebody who's going into a field to try and help children, to help study psychology, and to try and advance our understanding of these mental disorders and what would even cause something like this to begin in the first place, be kind to yourself and be kind to other people. Please. I hope that you all have a great night. And I'm wishing you all well. Please be kind.